Hey guys, what's up? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Jujutsu Kaisen or Sorcery Fight, which is on episode 17, etc. Now, this episode right here was actually pretty interesting, and the highlight of this entire episode is Maki herself. She is pretty impressive, not to mention what she was given when she was born was really impressive and really shocking at the same time. I mean, we heard about this in the last episode with Mekamaru, but that aside, it becomes an opposite. Now, call me crazy Milanakis for saying that, but if anything else, let's just get this started. We have to it that Miwa is pretty much fighting against Maki herself, and she is really struggling against him. Mai, on the other hand, tells Miwa that Maki's is like a fourth grade, so she's nothing to be concerned about. But unfortunately, she's actually almost above that because the technique she displays, not to mention the strength she's showing off to Miwa and giving her a hard time. Eventually, she would later on disarm Miwa and take her sword, and Miwa's like, "Hey, can I have it back, please?" I'm like, "Whoa, dude, she got her butt handed pretty badly." that badly. And we get to know about Maki down the road, but let's go to the scene with Kugisaki and the blondie haired chick, or her name is Momo, thanks to a comment or discussion giving me what her name is, due to the fact that her name is never said more times than I can even count or something. We get to know that Momo ends up telling Kugisaki about Mai herself, about she's part of a big jujutsu sorcerer elite family, that if you can't do that, then you're nothing, that kind of thing. I'm trying to simplify it in a way because it looks like to me Momo is telling Kugisaki about some messed up stuff that Mai went through, but Kugisaki is really sick and tired of Momo's chattering, saying, "So what? That gives her the right to do whatever the hell she wants. There's a price to everyone go through something, and etc." And Kugisaki lives in these simple things. I'm happy when I'm strong. If I want to look pretty, I'll look pretty. I'll look the part whenever I want to. Eventually, it looked like Kugisaki did try to hit Momo with her nails, but that was actually almost a setup. Well, it's actually a setup instead. She uses her nails power and her curse techniques and abilities to actually give Momo a hard time. This allows Kugisaki to grab one little straw from her broom and then use it on her doll and then make the broom go a little haywire. We had that Kugisaki's not going to use her hammer to hit Momo with. She decided to use a squeaky hammer, which is really funny and hilarious because that's a toy right there, and ends up trying to knock her out. But unfortunately for Kugisaki, she gets knocked out by a bullet by Mai, who shot herself from a faraway distance, And it was a rubber bullet, so it wasn't anything fatal. It was enough to knock her out here and there. Eventually, we have to it that Mai gives a call to Momo and talks to her for a bit, and Momo wants to say something, but Mai's like, "Hey, don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't let it concern you." And we have to it that Mai is fighting against Maki, which apparently I think she might have defeated Miwa already. And we get to know a little bit more behind the scenes where Maki should be at least a second grade or above Jujutsu Sorcerer, But unfortunately, because of her connections of a stinking family whatsoever, they're making sure she stays at fourth grade, which is not really her true rank whatsoever. We get to know a little bit more down the road about Maki and Mai, They are from the same family and they are siblings or sisters, And eventually, Mai specializes in long-range attacks, which seems to be a big advantage against close combat users, but unless you got better technique in it, you don't really stand a chance. And we see to it that we get to see Maki closing the distance between them, and even though she launched a lot of her bullets, we see Mai using all of her ounce of her curse technique to do construction, which we get to know that you can create something out of nothingness, out of nothing, and then make into something. Unfortunately, when it comes to construction, it consumes a lot of cursed energy or cursed techniques whatsoever, and then ends up having to use that one shot, that seventh shot after using all the ammo in her gun to shoot at Maki, but Maki caught it with her hand just in the nick of time, but it really hurt her, And we see to it that Mai is Mai couldn't do waves her gun around, tries to hit Maki with her own guns or hands, but unfortunately couldn't do anything since Maki's more trained in close combat and martial arts than Mai. Mai's been a long range shooter and she never learned martial arts whatsoever. And like I said, we get to know about Maki and Mai in this episode. They used to be very good siblings with each other until Maki decides to leave the family and will come back soon after getting strong enough and take over the family head. We have to it that this old man whatsoever that Maki was talking to says, okay, I'm gonna put Mai through the same situation too. And then we had to it that Maki's like, leave her out of this. She has nothing to do with this. You hear me? And we see to it that Mai calls her a liar and that she hates her. And we get to know why she hates her. They used to be very close with each other, but ever since Maki left and she decided to become a jujutsu sorcerer, she ends up having to Mai is forced to put through the effort that Maki had to put through, maybe because they have to be equal or they had to be strong. Whatever the case may be, Mai hated her for having to leave because she had her own path and road and future that she wanted to go for, while she had nothing and she was forced to do something. And we have to it that Mai let out all of her rage and anger towards her, saying, why the hell did you leave? And freaking Maki's like, what? Are you serious? It's like, I wanted to become a jujutsu sorcerer, and Mai says, isn't it the same for you? And Mai says, no! It's not the same for me. Sorry to confuse. Maki's like, I want to become a jujutsu sorcerer. Isn't it not what you wanted as well? But Mai confessed that she never wanted this. Ever since she left, she was forced to go through the same situations as Maki, trying to be better, stronger, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. And we have to it that, why couldn't you just stay at the... What's so wrong about being ordered back at home and just listen to a couple things, huh? I was forced to put through so much hell right now, I'm sick of trying so hard, facing pain and scary things. What the hell's so wrong about being ordered back at home, huh? Why couldn't you we could have just done a couple of simple chores and lived a simple life. What the hell's wrong with you, huh? Why weren't you there, etc.? Why wouldn't you stay at the bottom like me, etc., instead of trying to go to the very top? And Maki therefore says, because I would actually hate myself if I stayed at the very bottom and did anything else, And the way I look at it, I understand where she's coming from. Sometimes staying at the bottom is not going to make you happy. Sometimes you got to work your way to the top, but even so, when it comes, depending on what you specialize or what your talent in, it could bring you certain happiness, and depending where you go, I mean, being physically strong is really impressive. Not to mention Maki, Mai mentions that she has talent Mai mentioned that Maki has talent that she could never have. It's like the heavenly pact, like with Mechamaru, right? But it's the opposite. Instead of having any curse techniques or spells or etc. that she could use, she was granted superhuman physical abilities, which I go oh wow, man, that's really impressive. That's really pretty cool. I mean, superhuman abilities to reflexes, strength, stamina. That's really awesome. But unfortunately, because the Zenin family do not accept that kind of thing, they're trying to put Maki at the bottom because, yeah, she is destined to be a second grade sorcerer. We got to know that in this episode when it came to what's his name again? Gojo Sensei, along with others, talking about it, but the Zenin family has been a little shrewd up, We get to know another woman who apparently is a greedy money grabber whatsoever, which I don't really care about because she wasn't a highlight this episode, or she wasn't too much of a spotlight to a point that I even want to remember her. That aside, yeah, Mai kind of gotten upset at Maki for what she done, and that, it's like this, Maki's pretty much saying, where were you when I needed you, huh? We could have stuck together if we just did certain things right. But Maki's I'm not into that. If I did that, I would hate myself. And therefore she decided, but knowing that Maki knows the truth why Mai really has a lot of antagonism or a bitter relationship with her is now understood, Maki now understood that, and that she just told her the truth, saying, I don't like to stay at the bottom. If I did, I would hate myself and it would be disgusting. I'm sorry that I did this to you and you had to go through this hell, And by that time, like Mai remembers of like how like there were siblings, you know, and there's a cursed being right there that she saw, but Maki's like, okay, come on, close your eyes and hold on to my hand, okay? There's no need to worry, okay? And by that time, you know, like I said, there's a reminiscence about like how Mai remembers how they won't let go of each other and then stay together, you know, like don't leave me behind. And she says, yeah, I won't leave you behind, okay? We're sisters after all. And then we have two that Mai apparently calls her a freaking liar and then says, I hate you, freaking hell, I hate you, you know, that kind of thing. And then, you know, like it says, like Zen and Mai and Kugisaki Nobara is pretty much retired, you know, which really sucks. Yeah, so pretty much like Mai and Kugisaki Nobara is pretty much out of the game, you know, which really sucks. I thought Kugisaki might be in the game even though she was knocked out a bit, but I guess that's not the case since Mai landed that freaking headshot onto her, which is pretty effective, you know. I mean, going for the face and all, but that aside, yeah. Mai and Kugisaki are pretty much retired out of the game, you know, while Panda and the others are still in the game. And we get to know next episode we're gonna see Fushiguro like going into combat, you know, against in next episode called The Sage. So yeah, this episode right here, I thought it was pretty interesting. Sorry for the recap being very long and talking for too long and repeating myself with a lot of words here and there in the scenes. But like I said, Maki was the big highlight in this episode. I mean, like I said, she was supposed to be a second-grade sorcerer, but because of her shrewd up or messed up family, they try to make sure she stays as a fourth grade instead, you know? And she's not really like that. We get to know that she was born with natural superhuman strength, which I go, oh, that's pretty interesting, and that's really awesome, you know? I mean, like, and not to mention, she's been training her life as a martial artist in close combat, something that Mai doesn't specialize in, and goes into long-range combat, which is her biggest disadvantage if she loses her ammo and weapon, you know? And yeah. Then we got to know why Mai really hated Maki and lashed out at her with everything that she kept inside herself. And Maki realizes that what she has done, and then she says, look, man, if I stay at the bottom like you did, I would never forgive myself, or I would hate myself. Sorry, you know? And Maki just left after defeating her, and Mai just says these two words like, I freaking hate you, you liar, etc. Thought this episode was really interesting to know about Maki and Mai, you know? I mean, like, when it comes to certain families that is born into some kind of big fame or fortune, depending on what they specialize in, you gotta, like, find a way to bring that up, but whatever the case may be, yeah, Maki was born with, like, superhuman strength, while Mai is born with something to see cursed spirits whatsoever, but still. Anyways, looking forward to the next episode. Looking forward to see Fushiguro in action, man. I mean, like, I love the guy to death, and looking forward to see him, and looking forward to see what he can do. That aside, it sucks for Kugisaki to be out of the game, but, you know, it is what it is. Headshot, knockout, boom. So, until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Ta-da!